Friday, all. Happy Friday to you. Woof. It's going to be a good one today. Let me just hope you buckled up. I've already cried twice trying to say it this morning. So I was like, all right. I was having Chad moments, and I was just like, I was like, why is this affecting me so much today than any other day? I don't know, but it is what makes us who we are, and so it should be a good one. And I was trying to puzzle piece some things because you got to have a lot of notes when you talk about emotional stuff. You have to have things in front of you, so when you speak and you're coaching and you're doing things, you got to have a lineup ready to rock and roll, so that way you know what you know to keep on path, as well as you only got 30 minutes to do it all in. So Jay, did we go to Facebook? Are we on Facebook, Jay? I just want to double check to make sure that I'm on here. But good morning. If this is your first time being on here, welcome to Figure It Out Friday here this morning to you. And sometimes on Figure It Out Friday, what takes place is this is not a bad thing. This is just some of the things that take place in life that people that we have lined up, things happen, consequences or situations take place, and they can't always be able to make the show. And so you find out, a little bit, it's late. And then you got to figure out what the hell you're going to say. And I was trying to see what I was going to say. Good morning, Karen. Good morning, Sandy and Chad, and a lot of you this morning in the Facebook world. So thank you for being a part of this today. And so I was trying to figure out, I'm like, what am I going to talk about today? What am I going to do? And I don't know, God put this on my mind today to share it. And maybe it was a way, not only is it for you, but maybe it's a way for me to kind of release some of the things. I wore this shirt today. It's one of the shirts I put in here, one of the hardest workers in the room. And when I wear this shirt, it motivates myself and it motivates the other person who reads it, because I'm kind of challenging you to be like, raise your game, raise it up, because if you raise yours up, you're going to raise mine up, and we're kind of going to be battling when we do it. And then sometimes I'll go into rooms and people will be like, what's that all about? I said, I don't know. You want to challenge me? No, I don't want to challenge you. I was just wondering what your shirt was all about. And I'm always like, well, just let me know. We can do whatever you want, but I'm ready for it. And so, I wear a lot of different shirts like this. This one usually is one of those that kind of like gets people's attention. So I wanted to wear it purposefully today to get people's attention. And my mindset this week it's been a challenging week for me. So that was another reason why I said, maybe I should do this, talk about this, because no matter how bad my week has been this week, no matter how challenging it's been, it never was as bad as 2019, not even close to being as bad as 2019. So the perspective is like, Brock, you're going to be fine. Like if you got over that, this is nothing. And so I'm going to do a little bit of a video as well today. But first and foremost, before I forget, the affirmation on Figure It Out Friday. For those of all of us here, get ready to say it. Something good is going to happen to me. Something good is going to happen through me. So the video I'm going to show you is a video that I've done that has helped me get through many, many different things. It helped me when I was trying to become a real estate agent, when I was in teaching. It's about 2 minutes and 40 seconds. The title is called Art Williams, Just Do It. Many of you have heard me do this video. I've shared it with several of you, but this video, Art Williams, Just Do It, was pretty much engraved in my head in 2019 when I didn't want to do many, many things. So I'm going to share you the screen here so you can watch this video, and then I will begin my story. I got to make sure.
Do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to be somebody they're proud of. We need leaders in America who can do it. If you want to become somebody, do it. If you want to go in business for yourself, do it. If you want to become financially independent, do it. I hear too much talk in these United States. Everybody can talk a good game. We need people in America who can do it. I go all over this country with A.O. Williams, and I have people say, Art, you can count on me. Wonderful. Just do it. Art, I guarantee you this is my last stop. I'm going to win now. Super duper. Just do it. Art, if I could just have one good month and get the ball going, I know I could make it big. Super. Just do it. Art, if I could just pay off this debt, I could really go. Great. Just do it. Art, if I could just sell my house, do it. But houses ain't selling. Do it anyway. Art, I'm not making any money. What can I do? You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, I guarantee I'm going to win this contest. Super duper. Just do it. Art, I'm over the hump now. Watch my smoke. Great. Just do it. Art, I want to make it so bad I can taste it. What I do? You just do it. Art, I'm a vice president now. Can I quit doing it? No. Art, I don't know if I can keep on keeping on. I'm really hurting. What I do? You just do it. Do what, Art? You do it and do it and do it. Art, all my life I wanted to be somebody important. Well, what do it then? Art, I'm going to save money so I don't have to go through this again. Great. Just do it. Art, I don't feel like I've had enough training. What I do? You just do it. Art, my manager don't give me no help. What I do? You just do it. Art, you don't understand. I was Mr. Everything at my former company. You don't mean I have to start off down at the bottom and do it, do you? Yep, you really got to do it. Art, what's the primary difference between winners and losers? The winners do it. They do it and do it and do it and do it until the job gets done. And then they talk about how great it is to finally have achieved something unique and how glad they are that they didn't quit like everybody else and how wonderful it is to finally be somebody they're proud of and make a difference with their life. Thank you.
So I think you got the gist. Everybody understand that one? People say many times to me, well, Brock, what'd you do? How'd you get over this? I really do not know. I just did it. I just figured out a way to some capacity to do it. And so my story begins in 2016 when I was at Keller Williams and I got this large brown envelope. It came, and they don't do it quietly, anybody. So when you get a large envelope from the real estate commission, they don't like discreetly do it. They don't like, is Brock here? I got an envelope for him from the real estate commission. I just want to quietly do it. It's like, yes, I'm so-and-so from the real estate commission. I have an envelope to give. And like everybody knows the envelope, it's like you're going to real estate jail and you gotta deal with this issue. And so in 2016, a little bit before when I stopped drinking, in 2016, I was called to the real estate commission for embezzlement, and I left Keller Williams. I was partners with another person, and I was heavy into drinking. I wasn't paying attention, and I had no idea too much of what was going to take place. But the envelope was about this thick, and I am a D and an I with little c. So a paper that thick was like scared the hell out of me. I'm like, what the hell is all this going to be about? My wife at the time had no clue about anything. I was hiding it from her because in my mind, I was protecting her. So that was my protection phase that I was putting into it. That was not telling her. I really couldn't tell anybody because the situation I was in, I really, looking back at it, I was just like, well, who else is going to like go through this? Like nobody's going to understand me. And so I was going through this time period for about 2 years of this controversy. It was very, very intense, many times with attorneys, many times in scaring tactics. I had to hire 2 attorneys. I had to go through I was a teacher. I had to empty out my 401k because the attorney fees were really, really high and it ended up costing me someplace. I think it was like 76,000 or 82,000. Like I can't remember now. It's funny, back then I knew exactly what it was, but like I can't remember the details of that. And so that was a very, very trying time for me, but I was still drinking because it was masking the pain that I was in. I finally stopped drinking in 2018. September 7th was the first time I decided to stop drinking. November 1st when I officially was more committed than I was because I really thought Halloween would be a fun time to drink, to get my last, ghost and goblins out. So I thought that was okay to drink then. But little did I know that I like a half a bottle maker's mark. I really just wanted one, but a half a bottle later. So I realized I had a challenge. I had a challenge with myself personally. And so during this time period, and I keep track of this, and some of you guys think I'm crazy, but I think it's important. Like I always have statistics on everything. And I don't know if I can show you this. Let's see. Chad is the one that got this to me. You can see here, this right here keeps track of my legality of when I lost my license. It's been 3 years, 138 days, 7 hours and 27 minutes and 27 seconds that I was released from real estate jail. So part of me, when I look back at my life and people say, how long you been in real estate? I really say I had a new birth 3 years ago, like 3.5 years ago. I've only been really doing real estate. And people are like, seriously? I said, yes. I said, but I keep track of this because it motivates me. Many people always are like, how do you stay so motivated? How do you do this? Well, I do it on ways that motivate me. It might not motivate you, but it motivates me. Just like this shirt motivates me. When I need motivation, I find things to motivate me. There are no police that tell me what I can and cannot do in the motivation world. And so during this time period, note that when I lost my license on December 10th, 2018, I was able to actually pick the time period I could lose my license. Bryce was born 3 months ago in August 2018. So when you lose your real estate license, you don't get to practice real estate. Like in the state of North Carolina, I was told that I wasn't going to be able to practice real estate. I had several meetings with Keller Williams. At the time period, Wendy was actually the team leader, and we were not in a relationship. And she was in the room with my broker in charge and the owner of Keller Williams, and they all sat down. It was three of them on one side of the room and me on the other side. And Mike Kastner was one of the main ingredients who was a huge support to me during this time period. And I went in and they said, what are you going to do? I said, what do you mean? What am I going to do? They're like, well, you don't have a real estate license. Like you can't practice real estate. And I said, I know, but I don't know. Meaning I had no idea what I was going to do. There's no owner's manual to tell you how you can go about by doing this. And so they said, well, are you going to go back to teaching? And I said, no, I'm not going back to teaching. I'm going to figure this out. And so that was the motivation that I needed that somebody wanted to challenge me on what it is. But I had no clue. I had 6 people on my team. I had 2 employees at the time period. And I wrote down in my notes here, I was living in Northstone. It's a country club. My house was valued a little bit over $500,000. I had a newborn baby. I was going through a challenging time with my marriage because we thought a child would take this, help with our marriage. But just in case you're trying that practice, it doesn't work. But I went through that. I was trying to figure this thing all out. And I had to write down some of my notes here so I didn't forget. In 2019, in January, if you ever go into a painful moment, like you ever like stub your toe and it's like, you don't ever purposely stub your toe, like the edge of the bed and it hits the pinky toe, it's like the worst pain possible, right? Okay. I had to go through a pain going into January that I knew I wasn't going to be able to pay my mortgage because I had to take the money that I had because I expensed everything to be able to get through this court, to get through this, that I had no money going into it. But I had to show up every single day and pretend that I was perfectly fine. Because everybody around me just like, oh, you lost your license, man? I said, yeah, I did. But, we're okay. We're going to figure it out. We're going to do it. And you had to put this aura on every freaking day. I had to pretend that nothing was wrong. But really, basically, I had to freaking hit I had to knowingly go home and stub my toe. Nobody ever wants to stub their toe. But I was going into positions that I had to knowingly go into foreclosure. I had to knowingly know I was going to lose my cars because I had no money and I had to pay it for everybody else on the team. I didn't have a plan. I had zero clarity, but I knew I had to show up and pretend on the home front that everything was okay and somehow it would go through. God was not even in my life at this time. I just was 2 years being sober. I was finally being able to at least tell people a little bit about it because the first 2 years is hell. Because you're embarrassed. People look at you differently. They're like, oh man, that guy's a drunk. He can't handle his own liquor. He can't handle his beer. And I was getting these things and I was like, my mind was all messed up. So for about 5 months, I kept showing up from work. My personal life was a complete debacle. My financial life was a complete debacle. There were several times that I would have to go to the grocery store figuring out how I was going to get diapers. Whew. And that was very, very hard. I'm like, how the hell am I going to get, Laura wants me to get diapers. I don't have any money. She has no clue about this. She has no clue. And I'm trying to go through the aisles and trying to pretend, oh, here you go. I remember coming up with stories like, honey, they had to know they didn't, this was the only package they have. So I just got this, which was like 6 diapers. And the reason why I had to get 6 diapers was I had to lie to her because I didn't have enough money to get the bigger package. until I had to figure out how I was going to get more money the next day or two. And so I did this and I fought this battle for 4 months until I get called in the office by the owner, Keller Williams. And he says, I got to sit down and talk to you. This was the middle of June, I think 16th, I wrote down here. He says to me, hey man, I got to let you go. You can't be at Keller Williams anymore. So what? He says, yeah, I just didn't think you'd keep showing up like this. And some of the other people are getting like, they don't understand what you're doing. You don't have a real estate license, but you keep coming into the office. What happened is I figured out a way to go to South Carolina, which is 20 minutes from me. And I went down to the South Carolina Keller Williams office and I said, could I hang my license here? I told them my story and they said, yeah, we can hang your license here because you're legal in South Carolina. But see, nobody wanted to hear that side. They wanted to hear what I was doing illegally and everything else. And they wanted to point fingers and be like, oh gosh, this guy's a criminal. He was doing it because because when you get in trouble with the real estate commission, it gets posted in public record and people will go search it and your haters go and find it. And then they want to post it in places. So all these things were taking place in my life. And I'm like, oh my gosh, but I was doing things legal, but they didn't see that. I just figured out a way to be able to get my license into South Carolina. I self-blame me. I was like, listen, this is my situation. This is what I got. I'm perfectly legal in South Carolina. Can I hang my license here? They said, yes, you certainly can. See, here's the other part of this story. That spring, this is how I became really good at the disc, everybody. This is how I became really, really, really good at becoming an inside sales agent, because the only way I could do business was I had to get referrals from my South Carolina license. It was the only way I could do it. So I took a 50% pay cut, and people loved being around me because I was the best damn ISA out there. And I freaking called people all the time. I went from 6 people on my team because the law of attraction that I know now, people are like, I want to be around this guy, because I ended up having 18 people on my team in 6 months. And so they got fed up with me, be like, how is he getting people? He doesn't have a license. Don't these people know what type of criminal he is? And so I said to the guy, I go, so what does that mean with my team? He goes, your team can stay, but you have to leave. I said, oh, okay, that sounds really fun. So I met offsite. And this is one of the defining moments I've had in my life. I met offsite at a local bank. I called the banker that was down the road. I said, hey man, can I get into your conference room? I have to have a private meeting with my team. I think Mike Kastner was in that room that day. And and they knew a lot of I was very transparent. If they were going to hear something, they were going to hear it from me. Good, bad, or indifferent, you'll hear it from me. And so I met with them. Oh, and I had that conversation with them, and I told them who I was. And this is why it's so hard for me, because it was a defining moment that when I had 18 people, I said, I'm going to do a private vote. You can either stay here or I have to go to EXP, because this is the only place that can take the size of what I'm doing and financially wherever I am. This is the best place for me to go. So all 18 of them did a private vote. I came back to the office and I sat down with Heather, my ops manager. And I said, all right, let's see what we got here. Who's coming with me? What are we going to do? And man, it was one of the defining moments of my life. I got to go into the office where the owner was sitting. And I said, I appreciate you helping me. He goes, what do you mean? We'll be out of here in 2 weeks. And I said, all 18 people are coming with me. He's like, what? I said, yep. And that's when I realized I was a leader. At that moment, that's when I realized, like, I have something. God gave me a gift. I don't know what it is yet. I don't have a pot to piss in. I was becoming transparent with everybody, yet people still wanted to follow me. I'm like, damn, okay, I'm feeling you. I can keep doing this. If I just have to keep showing up and just keep doing it, I'm just going to keep doing it. Well, then I had another problem. Where the hell was I going to go with 18 people? Because we came to an office, and I'm like, I was just puzzle piecing everything together at like every hour of every day. I had no idea what was coming on. And this has nothing to do with my personal life. Nothing. This was all business that I was going through when I was dealing with. And so I found an office that was completely, and I wish I had a picture to show you. It was a complete disarray. I had to go in there and rehab it in 2 weeks. I had to figure out money that I was going to be able to use it with. And I was emptying out the least amount of money that I had. I had my credit cards maxed out because I literally had to buy all new desks. I had to repaint it. I had to tear down walls. I had to go through this whole thing, put in a new bathroom, put in a new kitchen. I had to make a break room. And I'm down there and I'm working every night till like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning to be back home for 4 o'clock because I had to feed Bryce. And I did that for 10 days. And it was god awful. I remember crying many times, being like, I don't know how much more I can keep doing this, because I had a breaking moment. Because the morning I came in, it was like a Thursday morning, and I get a knock on the door, and it was the county. This is what motivates me, though. You, Mr. Zevan? I said, oh, dear Lord. I said, yes. He goes, we have a fine for you. Somebody says that wrote a report on you that you're doing improvements without a correct permit. And you need to get a permit first. I need to come in here and take a look to see what you're doing. I said, who like, could you tell me who did this? Unfortunately, sir, I can't do it, but somebody called and said that they saw construction outside here. Somebody found me and wanted to try to sabotage what I was doing. So I had to go through that process in 2 days. I had to expedite the whole thing. Luckily, the guy was really nice. And so during that time period, to go back to my home life, this was in the summer. Because remember, I was told I had to leave. In the summer, people didn't like, because I was the HOA president and I had some haters. So you know what they were doing? They took my report and they posted it on Facebook inside the subdivision. And now my wife and my 2 kids, when they would go to the pool, would have to hear it. At this point, Laura did know, because I had to tell her. I mean, I was completely broken, and I was just like, I just got to tell you what I'm doing. I was starting a new life, starting a new journey. It was god awful. I mean, here I was 2 years of being sober, just trying to recover my marriage and everything else. And here she goes. She's like, I can't even go to the pool, Brock, without somebody saying something. I said, okay. I said, I wish I could do something about this problem, but I can't. I said, I said, we can put in a slip and slide in the back of the house if you want. Like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, I don't know what to say to you on this part, but we got through it. We had to sell my house. I had to sell my house. I had no choice. It was like, I was going through it. August 26, 2019, I had to file for divorce. And that too is another problem. So here I am reflecting. I got no money. I got no job. I'm trying to figure this thing all out. I got 18 people trying to be like, I mean, if people knew what was really going on, but I couldn't. I had to like come up and show up every freaking day to be like, it's going to be fine. We're going to work through this. I was still coaching my ass off. I was still calling people every day. It was the only way I could survive. And I kept watching, just do it, just do it, just do it, just do it. And so that year, I remember it to a T, how the challenge was. I remember it so well, what I had to go through. That's why I don't really say the story too much. I sell bits and pieces of it, but nobody knew. Nobody had any clue of certain things of what I was going through and how I would have figured out. I'm going to show you this next picture. And it's not to impress you, but it's to impress upon you what I did and what you can do if you just stay laser focused and you just do it every freaking day and don't let people bother you. And don't let the distractions. And if you just show up, and part of my claim that I've been able to do, I had to black it out. I don't know if you can see it, but that's my income I made with no real estate license. I still made $278,000 that year, and not having a real estate license. And I say to people, when people tell me and they're coaching and they're going through things, well, Brock, you don't get it. I said, do you have a real estate license? Yeah, but it's really hard. I said, try doing this without a real estate license. Try doing this going through a divorce. Try doing this with your house being foreclosed on. And it's not to impress them, but it's to say to them, you have to find a why. You have to find that next level, whatever it might be. I don't know what it is in your life. For me, it was survival just to make it. It was just survival to be able to give my kids. You know how many times I came home and I had no electricity and I had 3 hours to figure out how I was going to find electricity for the kids to come home? Imagine having to tell your wife, we got no electricity tonight. I couldn't do it. God bless my parents. I had to borrow money from them and I kept committed to them. I said, I just need to, I remember my dad's like, how much money? I said, I need to borrow 5,000. It's And I'm a blue collar worker, guys, from upstate New York on a farmland. So $5,000 in our family is a huge amount of money. He's like, five? I said, yeah, I need five. I'll pay you back in 30 days, Dad. I need a little bit of money until I have my closings, until I can get it done. I would do it and I would pay him back like 6 weeks later. Like, hey, Dad, I just need a little bit, because I was trying to balance because I made money, as you could see. But the problem is I had so many expenses and so many people, and I had to be able to get through this. Like, I had fines, I had fees, I had legalities, I had salaries, I had employees. I was paying $37,000 a month just to be able to keep things going. And I asked Dad, I know it's 5,000 last time, but I need 11,000 this time. He's like, 11,000. I said, yeah, I could pay you back in 3 weeks. But I was building up I was building a good tab with him because I was paying him back. But it was when I see that video, Just Do It. When now I look at this show, Figure It Out. 4 years ago, it was just Mike Castor and I. It really was on a phone call. And to be able to see where it's come today, to see a post by Lisa Calloway who gave a shout out to all these people. And when I look at the people, the vehicle was this Figured Out Friday. The vehicle was this motivation show. This vehicle has brought people together in so many capacities, but this vehicle has also helped me grow. I got so many more things to figure out in my life. I'm never done figuring it out. My coach yesterday, we had a really good talk. He goes, you know what your biggest gift is? You are a very good implementer. He's like, you can implement like no other. You will figure out a way to make it work. I don't even know half the time of what you're going to come up with, but you just figure out a way. And the more that I'm around you, the more I realize you figure it out. And I think your show is perfect for who you are. And so for those that are going through a challenge, it's 8:46. Somehow, some way I got it. I said a prayer right before this call to be able to, oh my God, just get me through this one today. But hopefully I was able to touch you, maybe to say like, thank God I didn't have all those problems. I got nothing compared. Like, boy, he was a freaking mess. Maybe I shouldn't even be on this show or watch this. But here's this thing. Back then, things were happening to me. See, I had the wrong mindset. Things were happening for me. God aligned me up perfectly. He wanted me to go through that shit show. He wanted me to, because there's no way I could do what I am doing today, to speak on stages, to coach people, to help people, to inspire people, to be able to help them get to wherever it is that they want to go. I had to go through that. I have to have more situations happen to me. So when people say, hey, Brock, I got a little bit of a challenge. I don't know if you've heard this before, if this has happened to you. Mike always would call me up. He goes, whenever I'm having a bad day, sometimes, Brock, I just call you. I said, I appreciate that. And this week you could call me and I could tell you some of my challenges I got. But you know what? I got the right mindset now. I got the right people around me. All of you that are on here, those that are on Facebook, those that watch the recording, those that text me, you all help me in some capacity, in some way, just like I want to help you. One of the influencing parts is reciprocity. It's one there's 7 rules to high influential people, and reciprocity is one of them. And it's a give and take with all of us on here. Guys, I appreciate you all for listening to me. I appreciate you all for being a part of my Figured Out Friday. I didn't know what I was going to say at some point this morning, but we figured it out. And I'm excited that you're all to be able to hear my story. I don't know how many more times I might say it, but thank you so much. Thank you for being a part of it. Thank you for being Figured Out Friday. If you're going to be around next week, May 2nd, Tuesday, Coach Burt and I will be coaching, we'll be inspiring, we'll be motivating from 10 to 4 all day, pouring into you, working on conversations, working to convert at a high level. Several of you are going to be on there. If you want to be a part of it, you want to be around me, you want to be around Coach, you want to be around other people, a lot of people on this show right now, come to it, be a part of it. Guys, God bless you. I appreciate you all for being on here. Thank you so much for being here this morning. It is 8:49. I ran 4 minutes late, so sorry about that. God bless you. I'll be back 8:15 Monday morning for Mornings with Maxwell. Thank you so much, guys, for your posts and the comments and the chats. I really appreciate your love. I appreciate it tremendously. Have a great day.